The tarmac is silent. No pilots, no passengers, no announcements overhead. Slow, relentless walkers, just like the ones from The Walking Dead, are somewhere beyond the gates. Just a faint sound of wind slicing through the broken terminal windows. You stand near Gate 2B with your group, back against the vending machine, as a bloody boarding pass flutters past your feet. For the hardcore survivors, think World War Z airport chaos meets real life. For this scenario, we're dealing with the classic, slow-moving walkers. Think The Walking Dead, no rage zombies, no Usain Bolt sprinters. These are the dead brought back to hunt the living. They're slow, but they never give up. In one bite, then it's over. The airport was supposed to be your escape, but now, it may just be your grave. There's you and 6 others, mostly strangers, but you get along fairly well, and that goes a long way in the apocalypse. You're now holed up in the Pine Creek Regional Airport. 1 terminal, 2 courses, 3 gates. This isn't LAX or JFK. No TSA lines, no terminals filled with tourists, none of that. This place serves small commuter planes, a few cargo drops, and the occasional business traveler flying out to nearby states. Now, it's a concrete tomb with jet fuel fumes and shattered glass. You enter through a broken hangar bay after being chased from the freeway. The tower is dark, there's no power. You barricaded the front doors with airport benches and turned the TSA checkpoint into a fallback line. That's great thinking. The cafe has enough food for about a week or so. Snack bars, pretzels, and cans of tomato soup. There's no restaurants in this airport. Bathrooms still work for now. Not much water pressure, but you take it. You find a fire axe inside of a maintenance closet and a few flare guns in a grounded pilot's duffel bag. You also find a TSA badge still clipped to the vest. Blood-soaked, but useful. The sidearm, nowhere in sight, but the locker in the corner still locked. You may can find a firearm or 2. Jake, one of your group mates, jokes that it feels like Call of Duty zombies. But when a decayed hand slammed against the automatic door from outside, no one was laughing. Before we talk about the pros and cons, let's zoom in on the 3 survival necessities: food, water, and shelter/defense. Let's start with water. There are functional restrooms with working pipes, for now. But without power, water pressure is limited, and bottled water is scarce. Food. The cafe and vending machines offer light rations, but nothing long term. You will be hunting granola bars and chewing gum after a week, and that's being modest. You may can start a farm, but we'll speak on that later. Shelter and defense. The airport layout works in your favor. Long hallways, tight checkpoints, and multiple fallback zones. But it's also full of windows, and open space is really your friend. Makeshift weapons can be found all over, so you may be onto something. It's time to be a little more positive. Let's dive into the pros of surviving in a regional airport. Regional airports are built for control. That means choke points. Turn a TSA checkpoint into a funnel, and you've got a killing zone. Or maybe target practice, because Jake could use the extra help. The minimal size means fewer entrances to guard, easier to secure than a mall or a hospital. The airport is also surrounded by a chain link fence. That's standard perimeter security. It's not anything special, but it helps. You can even reinforce it. It'll keep out the clueless dead, but not the determined ones, especially not anything smart, fast, or flying. Still, a fence buys time, and in the apocalypse, time is survival. The terminal seats and metal kiosks make great makeshift barricades. They're strong, stackable, and everywhere, and you could create plenty of makeshift weapons. Fire extinguisher, heavy, dense, sprays blinding foam, a perfect head smasher and a crowd control tool. Mop handle plus steak knife, spear. Oxygen tank is blunt. Aircraft parts, chair legs, or table parts. You could go on and on. Do you remember the dead TSA agent? Yeah, you found access to his locker. Now you have 2 firearms. You could do better, but you shouldn't expect more anyway. This is an airport, not a police station and not a gun store. The control tower equals vantage point. A lookout with a rifle could see for miles. Just don't put Jake up there. The jet bridge tunnels, trap zones. Narrow, metal, and easy to seal. Access to flare guns and maybe even aviation fuel equals creative defensive options. Since the airport is smaller, that equals fewer zombies inside to begin with. The initial cleanout is manageable. You might even find shortwave radios in the security room. That could change everything. So you've cleared the concourse, locked the gates, now the runway. Once the path for takeoff, now it's a field of makeshift soil beds and salvaged water barrels. If the world's gonna come to an end, you may as well grow a farm. If life gives you tomatoes, make ketchup. Also, in between the runway tarmac, there's grass, which means soil, which equals sustainability. Good for you, but this also takes time. It won't happen overnight. You're even thinking you can build a community here. You have great instincts because you absolutely can if you play it right. The terminal becomes your base. The hangars, your supply hubs, and the runway, that's your farm now. In a world full of death, this place gives you something rare, a space to grow, food, security, and people. You're not just surviving anymore, you're building a future. But this is the zombie apocalypse, so everything isn't so positive. Let's dive into the cons and see what can go wrong. There's glass, just too much glass. Terminal walls, doors, ceilings, zombies can see in. You can see them, but they can see you. Sound echoes. A single gunshot would turn your location into a magnet for the horde. There's little to no natural food or water source. Once you're out, you have to scavenge until your farm can sustain you, but that'll take months. Also, there's limited medical supplies. Most of what you'll find are bandages, gloves, and antiseptic wipes. Maybe a defibrillator if you're lucky. There's no morphine, no antibiotics, and no surgical gear. You may can find something in the luggage, but that's a huge risk to take. And once someone in your group gets seriously injured, a bite, a broken bone, an infection, you'll realize it real quick. This place doesn't heal, it just holds you together. There's no working security system. You'll never know what's coming until it's inside. Unless you can make some type of makeshift security system, you just won't know. And not knowing is just as good as dying. If a plane crashes or explodes near the fuel tanks, you're all barbecue. Well, I guess that's not a con for the zombies. I hope you have a pilot too. Not all survivors know how to fly. That plane outside might as well be a statue or somewhere you can hide in. The air ventilation system connects rooms. If one zombie gets in, the infection could spread silently through the ducts. But maybe not with this style of zombie. But still, you should be careful. The airport layout gives you fallback zones, but also blind spots. One wrong turn near gate 1 and you're surrounded. The terminal windows don't stop determined zombies or looters. The surrounding area, mostly industrial. There's no nearby homes, stores, or backup supply routes. You're isolated. That's good, but also bad. That means you have to travel out pretty far to go scavenging. You may find clothes in some of the luggage, but is that truly reliable, especially at a smaller airport? I bet you're wondering how this can collapse. So I'll tell you how. You've been here for about 3 weeks. Your group hasn't gotten any bigger, and you haven't seen any visitors. That's great. Jake, the same guy who made the Call of Duty joke, thinks he sees a helicopter on the horizon. He rushes up the control tower. Radio's dead, but he lights a flare and waves it through the broken window. Problem is, that flare isn't just for pilots. Every walker in a 10-mile radius sees that orange glow. The living sees it too. 20 minutes later, the glass door shatters. They flood through Concourse A. You try to hold the TSA checkpoint, but the ammo's gone. Your buddy Luis gets dragged over the luggage carousel. You fall back to the hangar, but all the windows make you easier to spot. It's chaos, screams, gunshots. The smell of burning rubber fills the air. A flare was ignited near the refueling station.
Who in the fuck did that?
You dive into a catering truck parked on the tarmac. 2 others climb in behind you. You watch through the small windshield as the terminal burns. Jake never came back. But is that really a loss? The helicopter? It never existed. For the final verdict, a regional airport offers short-term hope and long-term danger. The structure is manageable. The defenses are logical, but the resources? Limited. The exposure is high. Too many windows. You knew that, but it's over now. In the illusion of escape, it might just get you killed. For short-term survival up to 30 days, I rated a 4. With a bigger group, maybe even a 5. Great for a pit stop, risky if you stay. Unless you've got a pilot, a plan, and a lot of luck, you're grounded. Long-term survival is a 1. Would you survive a zombie outbreak in a small airport? Or would your story end on the tarmac under a blood-red sky? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe for weekly breakdowns for the undead frontlines. This is Zombie Survival Archive. Stay alive if you can. And thank you so much for watching our videos. We really appreciate you.